Welcome to TMI Today with Rita and Jen Lee. In this podcast, there is no such thing as too much information. We are diving into all of the taboo topics, from money and careers to relationships and parenting, to whatever else we've been too afraid to discuss as women. Listen in and join the movement as we raise each other up in our everyday lives.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of TMI, today's motivational insights, where it's never too much information that we share because we connect real people to real world situations, and we just have casual conversations and get to meet with amazing women of impact that are creating a difference for other women leading them. And I say the we is Jen Lee and me. Jen Lee is a financial stress reduction attorney extraordinaire, right? I love being with like-minded women who are really motivating other women, their families, to propel forward in the world. And who am I? I'm Rita Bacuzzi. I'm also known as Mama Rita Money. So I am your money coach and money consultant. And I just love having conversations with women who are in the money biz, if you will. And most of us, I think a lot of us get stuck, wouldn't you agree, Jen, around taxes?
Yeah.
They can kind of seem pretty scary. I'm going to tell you, this woman that we are introducing now, Luba Milgram, is a warrior woman of taxes. And I can't wait to introduce her to you, which is right now, because I can't wait any longer. Luba, I've known you for many years, and I wanted to introduce you because one of the things when Luba came into my life was the differentiation between tax preparation, tax planning, strategic tax planning and strategies. And Luba is always on top of it, if not ahead of the game. And I love it. She has an amazing book called Thinking Outside the Tax Box, right? And so it is about stretch. So for some women, it is that stretch thinking. And she definitely works with entrepreneurial women and women in business as a specialty. And if you're in business, boy, you want Luba's number. So Luba, I want to thank you, and which we will provide at the end, on how to connect with her, because we want to share amazing resources to level everyone up. Again, I talk about the leveling up and the raising and getting the village together to support one another and moving each other forward together as a community, creating collateral goodness in the world so that we all do well. And I don't know, Luba, I tell people that we're all related, right? So we all have the same uncle, but we may not like that uncle that enough to give him more than our fair share. Should we be giving Uncle Sam more than our fair share? And how many people do that? Do lots and lots of people do that? All right. Well, Luba, thank you for being here. What we'd like you to share, maybe to start off, is, I kind of started off, you could start on your journey on how you got to doing, the tax prep, to the planning, to the strategic planning, and more, and share a little bit about that journey for us, on how you got there, maybe the differences, in teaching people.
Yeah, thank you, Rita. And interesting that you mentioned at the beginning about the taxes, if I can say a few words about that.
Yes.
I read an article published last year in Psychology Today, and it says that some people are so traumatized by the ordeal of preparing tax returns and so terrified of the IRS that their condition manifests as pathological. People are scared, and that extreme traumatic fear indicates a phobia, and it's called Forosophobia. So there is a condition for that.
Wow.
Just the fact. And I'm a tax advisor, and the common misconception people have is, like you mentioned, that tax advisors are tax preparers. Most accountants are tax preparers. CPAs and EAs, enrolled agent, are in the business of tax preparation. And tax preparation is what it is. It's tax preparation. It's compliance, reporting correctly what had happened already in the past, last year. And you know, in a short 2-3 months, we'll be in the middle of a new tax season. Americans hate paying taxes. It's coded into our national DNA, right? You agree with that, right?
It is, yes.
Yes.
We fought for independence from England in large part to stop King George III from taxing us without our consent. And every new president that comes to the White House has his own agenda. Taxes are just part of our life, and most transactions have tax consequences. Well, the Greek philosopher Heraclitus, I think, said that change is the only constant in life. That's true with taxes as it is everywhere else, right? And Washington talks about simplifying the tax code, but makes it more and more complicated with every new bill. Remember this postcard tax return postcard?
Yes.
Well, back then, Bain Form 1040 became shorter, but with that, we got new schedules, new forms, and it just became more complicated. And most recently, Washington has passed an Inflation Reduction Act, if you heard about this, and that act authorizes nearly $80 billion in new IRS spending over the next 10 years.
Wow.
Well, there are rumors that there will be new 87,000 armed agents roaming the streets to shake down your kid's lemonade stand. This is exaggeration, and that's nonsense, of course. Well, but the new, with this new funding, this planning and execution of your plan is more important than ever, because all this tax planning, whatever tax planning does, is basing all the strategies on the Internal Revenue Code, based on the law. And how I came to this, I wanted to give people something that they want, not what they have to do. They have to file taxes every year. And this is mandatory, that's every year. But, well, they have to file taxes and sometimes get refunds, sometimes they owe. It depends on what happened during the year. But what do people really want? They want to keep money in their pocket. Of course, within legal boundaries, of course. That's possible. And General Accounting Office estimates that Americans overpay taxes by billions every year. And, you know, I'm a tax advisor, certified tax planner, and most people don't know what the difference is.
So Luba, I have a question on that. No, I have a question because you're getting into some really good stuff that our audience needs to hear. And what I see with a lot of my clients is they're so afraid of the taxes that they just approach it from a preparation standpoint. And they never think about how it's like a transaction versus a strategy almost. And so
Correct.
I'm happy to hear you talking about it being, we could pay less in taxes legally, but you actually have to plan for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And tax evasion is illegal.
Right.
But tax avoidance is legal.
I love it.
You are allowed to structure your business or your affairs the way that you pay your fair share, not overpay. And in pursuit of saving money on taxes, people do mistakes. They actually report they overstate their expenses, their deductions, which is not legal, and they get in trouble because of that. So why get in trouble and do something illegal when there are so many legal strategies? Just follow the law. And most people don't know the difference between tax preparation, yes, and tax advisor, and working with tax advisor year round. And most people look at the tax code and see 70,000 plus pages of gobbledygook. But there is really a certain logic to it that that jumps out on you if you look really good enough. So I want you to imagine a tax code as traffic lights, on the streets, traffic lights. There is a green light and a green light and red light. And red lights those are specific Internal Revenue Code sections where you have to stop and pay tax. And it explained when you have to pay tax. But very quickly, the code runs out of these red lights and starts including green lights. So these are places where you can go without paying tax. And that's what Internal Revenue Code, our law says. That's where a tax planner can help you save thousands on taxes. Okay. And tax planning is not tax preparation. Tax planning is legal. And like I said, there are numerous tax code provisions provide the intention of Congress to allow and encourage lawfully structuring of business and personal affairs to claim tax benefits. And that includes deductions, exclusions, credits, deferrals. There are a lot of them. And it's on a fully disclosed basis. It's just in the tax law. And claiming tax benefits in a manner consistent with federal statutes and state statutes and congressional purpose is part of sound planning. That's what it is. So people are afraid, but when they come to prepare taxes, that's too late. This is, this is what already happened, right? So that's what in the back.
So I have heard this from people that they think that tax planning, the strategy that you're talking about, is only for wealthy or very rich people. Can this be used for just everyday, I'm a run-of-the-mill lawyer, I don't have anything fancy. Can I use tax planning?
Absolutely. Law applies to billionaires and small business owners. And I work with small business owners. It's the same law. It's not like law applies to them and not applies to us. It's the same.
So we should all be using it. So we should all be using it, is what you're saying.
They have departments who work on that. Small business owners can't afford this luxury, but that's why tax planners exist. That's why tax planning exists. And unfortunately, business owners often just forget tax altogether during the tax year, and they put off thinking about tax until after the year is nearly over, or next year, and they come and they say, what can you do to reduce taxes? I can't do much. There is something to do, but not much, because this is after. That's so after. When there are far fewer means of reducing taxes once the year is complete. Yeah. So the result is almost certainly an overpayment of taxes, which actually reduces cash in the pocket.
When would you recommend them starting, Luba? When would you recommend somebody, if they're going to do tax planning, do they start in January, or do they start of the year that they're thinking about, or do they start like in October? Because I've heard that wealthy people do all their tax planning for the year in advance. Like, so in September, October, November, they already know what their plan is for their spending the year that is forthcoming. And so
Yeah.
I'm going to say small business owners, they get to do that too. They get to think about, hey, if you've already been in business, you kind of know what your expenses have been. So it kind of gives you good knowledge, right? Of like, you're looking back at what you have spent, and then you know what you've spent, and then maybe what the projected spending is, and then how to strategize that money going forward. Because now and I'll just give example year 2022. However, we're planning now in November, or should have planned in October for 2023, to make all of this tax avoidance, again, which is legal. We're not talking tax evasion, tax avoidance.
We're only talking about legal,
right,
law.
with the strategies that are given to us, or the tools that have been given to us with, I'm going to say, your expertise, or someone of your expertise that knows these strategies, these laws that can be applied to people's businesses to benefit them for the forthcoming year. Is that correct?
Right. If you've never done tax planning, you need to start as soon as possible. Traditionally, historically, September, October, November. December is kind of late, even though December is possible, is main tax planning season. But tax planning is a year-round affair. It's a year-round. And I work with my clients year-round. And I work with them on a concierge way. So I need to know what's happening in their life. It's a year round. So if they're planning any transaction in January, we need to talk about this. In September, it might be late. It already happened. There are certain parameters that we need to follow. And let's say a sale of real estate, and if owner of the real estate wants to do an exchange, it has to be done within certain period of time. Or if there is a capital gain, what can be done has deadline. So if you did something in January and now you came to me for planning in October, it might be too late to help you.
Right.
So that's why there is a benefit to working with tax advisor, and especially concierge way tax advisor who works with you on a regular basis. And before you do anything, you have to talk with a tax advisor.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, in the end, if they come,
it creates good habits and accountability. And I know from going from, being in the corporate world and it being very, I'm going to say basic, and not having all that, to being an entrepreneur, business owner, it has opened up my eyes to a whole new world. And, whereas I used to just go, okay, tax preparation. If I got my tax preparation done by February, I was so proud of myself. And it was done, right? Because everybody else was waiting till April 15th. And I was done in February. And then I get into this world of small business, which I'm going to say, I'm still training myself on the tax side, as Luba well knows, because it is a process and growth. And, if you can have somebody that holds you accountable, that toes the line, that's that concierge method. I think of it as an accountability system, right? Because I don't know what I don't know that I'm missing. And so sometimes, I may run rogue or run amok, but the good thing is that I have somebody, and I love Jen's laughing at me and Luba, they know I'm going to be real. I'm going to be honest, because I know that there are people out there like this. And especially when it comes to taxes, it's almost like I'm being good, because I have my person and I'm ahead, but then I'm kind of getting off track and not facing it. And then I have my system with my accountability partner, which is Luba, in the tax system to get me back in line before I really screw it up. That's what kind of about the best way I can say it. Like I can screw it up just a little, but not really, really bad. And hopefully if I'm being really good and diligent, really, which has happened, is those great years where it's so beneficial. And then you're really actually almost looking forward. I know that sounds crazy, looking forward to the taxes. And I'm just going to say, and finding someone who, as my husband says, is a saint for listening to me and answering all my questions, right? It's so important that you feel comfortable and it's the right person. And it's your relationship based versus transactional based, which is the tax prep is transactional. And this is really a relationship of accountability, really to make you flourish financially, which is super exciting.
Yes.
When you think about it, it gets to be the flip of the perspective. I know that I have a lot of wealthy friends, but they love to look forward to this time of year because they're like, "Ooh, I wonder what I'm going to get to buy in the last quarter of the year because I get to do my legal tax avoidance, and within my business, what are the parameters of what do I get? Do I need new laptops for my business? What do I need that is appropriate and along the lines, but it's something that I get to buy?" And it's such a different perspective and shift, and it's very freeing, I'm going to say. And it's great to have somebody keep you on that track as well. So, yeah.
Well, buy at the end of the year is good if you need it.
Yes.
If you really need it, but buy
it
just to lower your taxes doesn't really make sense because there are other strategies.
Right.
And just help small business owners keep more money in their pocket instead of, and at
when you
the
said
end,
billions, I did not
they can
realize
spend this money to buy a laptop or to buy whatever they need if that's their goal, but not necessarily. And I just wanted to say that tax planning considers the tax consequences and benefits from multiple perspectives, including personal benefits, business benefits, ownership succession wishes, current and desired retirement planning, asset protection, ownership estate planning wishes. So there is a lot involved. And, if people wait until the end of the year and they want to do planning, which is not planning, it's tax preparation, and they ask what can be done going back, it's like driving a car using the rear view mirror instead of the windshield. You can do it if you really want to, but it's hardly the smartest way to go, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely wouldn't want to do that on a freeway. I think that, and I think that that's how it helps people flourish faster, because they're avoiding any kind of pitfalls and past mistakes that kind of go with them in that current tax year.
Well, I find a lot of people also fall for scams because they start panicking and then start looking for like the cheap and easy way out of things. And I see a lot of that. I do a lot of bankruptcy work, and I see a lot of people that fall for scams. And I think what Luba that you bring to the table is that pre-planning, there's a lot of strategies out there people could use. They wouldn't be stressed out and wouldn't need to fall for those types of things after the fact.
And I'm a co-author of the book, Thinking Outside the Tax Box. I'm very proud that, I'm part of this and helping people. I'm really excited to help people with their tax planning and tax advisory.
Love it. I kind of want to start to close this out and just share about, you can only grow from what you know, and what you don't know, you get to resource a specialist and learn more so that you can then grow. They can help you grow from what they know to help you flourish financially. And I love that. And that's what I love about you, Luba. And it just gets to be so super amazing because the perspective is you're looking at the goals. And we were recently talking with somebody about where we're focusing on where we want to get. And that's what you do is you get people to think outside of that tax box, like your book says, and get them focusing forward on where they want to go. I call that a focus or financial positioning system. It's their FPS. And, with you as a dial director in the arena of their taxes, they know their starting point and then they know where they're going to go. So it gets them further faster. And I want to say thank you so much for everything that you shared today. That was a wealth full of wisdom. So we always like to close out with one fun fact about you.
Well, I can say that after COVID, after not traveling in 2020, 2021, this year in 2022, I went to Europe and it was Greece and Italy. Amazing, absolutely amazing trip. And I was wondering how their tax system works. Well, I got to spend my birthday in the hills of Tuscany, which was amazing.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Well, we're so thankful to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Luba.